My name is Alex. I am a normal person. I have a normal job in a normal, big office. My life is not very exciting. I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I eat dinner, I watch a little TV, and I go to sleep. It is a simple life. I am a quiet person. I do not like big parties. I do not like to be the center of attention. My favorite thing at work is my coffee mug. It is blue and it says you can do it. The message is very positive. The coffee inside is usually not very positive. But the mug is great. I sit at my desk with my computer. The computer is a little slow. The coffee is a little bad. But it is my job, and it is okay. So, last week was a very normal week. Tuesday was a very, very normal Tuesday. I woke up. I went to work. The sky was gray. The traffic was slow. Everything was normal. I sat at my desk, I turned on my slow computer, and I drank my bad coffee from my good mug. I was working on some numbers. Numbers are quiet. I like numbers. They do not talk to you. They do not ask you questions. They are perfect. Then, I received an email. The email was from my boss, Mr. Henderson. The email said, "Alex, please come to my office. 10 a.m. My heart did a little jump. A meeting with the boss? This is not normal. I looked at the clock. It was 9:59 a.m. Perfect timing. I stood up and walked to his office. My shoes made a small, quiet sound on the floor. Mr. Henderson's office is big. It has a big desk and a big chair. He has big glasses and a very serious face. He does not smile much. He was looking at some papers. I said, "Good morning, Mr. Henderson." He looked up. "Ah, Alex. Come in. Sit down." I sat down. The chair was very soft. I felt very small in the big, soft chair. He looked at me with his serious face. He said, "Alex, we have a big meeting next week. The whole team will be there. We will talk about our quarterly sales." I nodded. This was normal. I listened to these presentations every quarter. They were usually very boring. But this time, it was different. Mr. Henderson continued. "And this time, Alex, you will give a 5-minute presentation. In English." I think my brain stopped working for 10 seconds. The world became very quiet. The only sound was my heart. It was not a normal sound. It was like a big drum machine in my chest. Boom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. A 5-minute presentation? Me? In English? In front of 20 people? I was sure it was a joke. A very, very bad joke. I looked at Mr. Henderson's face. He was not smiling. This was not a joke. I think I made a strange sound. Something like a. My mouth was very dry. My hands were wet. I felt hot and cold at the same time. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to become a plant in the corner of his office. Or maybe the carpet. A carpet is a good job. Nobody asks a carpet to give a presentation. But I was not a carpet. I was Alex. And Alex had a big, big problem. I think I nodded my head. I said, "Okay, Mr. Henderson." The word "okay" came out of my mouth, but my brain was screaming no. 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 No way. I walked out of his office. I do not remember walking. Maybe I was floating, like a sad balloon. I sat down at my desk. I looked at my computer. The numbers on the screen were not numbers anymore. They were strange, little insects dancing. I looked at my keyboard. The letters were mixed up. I could not read them. My brain was officially soup. A hot, nervous soup. For 1 hour, I did nothing. I just sat there. I thought about my options. Option 1, I could run away. I could go to a small island with no offices and no presentations. Option 2, I could be sick next week. A very serious sickness. Maybe a 30-minute flu. Only during the presentation time. Yes, that was a good plan. But then I looked at my blue coffee mug. It said, "You can do it." I always thought, yes, I can do this normal, quiet work. But now, the message was different. Could I do this? This scary, big, public thing? I took a sip of my cold, bad coffee. The coffee said no. But the mug said yes. I decided to listen to the mug.so. I made a plan. My plan was simple. I had 7 days. I needed to become a presentation machine. A confident, English-speaking, presentation-giving machine. My plan had 3 steps. Step 1, write the speech. Step 2, practice the speech. Step 3, do not die. It was a good plan that evening. I started with step 1. Writing. I sat with a paper and a pen. I tried to write very smart, professional English words. Words like synergy and optimization. But I did not really know what they meant. My presentation was about our quarterly sales. It was a boring topic. So, I decided to use simple words. Very, very simple words. We sold many things. The numbers went up. This is good. My speech was not smart. It was not professional. But it was in English. And it was my English. It took me 3 hours, but I had a 5-minute speech. It was ready. The next day, I started step 2. Practice. This was the difficult part. My first practice session was in my bathroom. My audience was the man in the mirror. He did not look happy. He looked very, very scared. He looked exactly like me. I started to read my speech. My voice was shaky. It was very quiet. I looked at the man in the mirror. His face was white. His eyes were big. I tried to make a gesture with my hand. My hand felt strange. It was like a confused bird. It flew up, then down, then it hid in my pocket. This was not going well. I tried to smile. The man in the mirror also tried to smile. It was not a smile. It was a picture of pain. I looked like I was eating a lemon. I needed a new strategy. I decided to record my voice on my phone. I read my speech. Then, I played the recording. I listened. And I thought, who is this sad, nervous person? His voice is terrible. He sounds like a lost robot. I listened again. It was really bad. But it was my voice. So, I had to be friends with this voice. I also needed a better audience. I have a cat. His name is Leo. He is very lazy and very confident. I decided to practice my presentation for him. I stood in my living room. Leo was sleeping on the sofa. I started my speech. Good morning, everyone. Today, I will talk about our quarterly sales. Leo opened one eye. He looked at me for about 10 seconds. Then he closed his eye and went back to sleep. He was a very difficult audience. He was not impressed, but I did not stop. Every day, I practiced. For 7 days. I practiced in the morning when I was making coffee. I practiced in my car when I was in traffic. The people in the other cars probably thought I was crazy. I practiced in the shower. The sound was very good in the shower. I sounded very professional with the water running. Every day, I practiced with the man in the new mirror. Every day, I recorded my voice. And every day, I gave my presentation to my cat, Leo, and a strange thing happened. It started to become a little easier. After 3 days, the man in the mirror looked a little better. He was still nervous, but he was not eating a lemon anymore. After 5 days, my recorded voice sounded less like a robot and more like a human. A nervous human, but a human. And on day 6, my cat, Leo, listened to my whole speech. He did not sleep. He just looked at me. Then he washed his face. For a cat, this is big applause. I was ready. Or, I was as ready as possible. Then, Tuesday came again. Presentation day. Or, as I called it in my head, the end of the world day. I woke up. My stomach felt funny. I wore my best shirt. My lucky shirt. I made coffee. And of course, I spilled a little coffee on my lucky shirt. Just a small drop, but I saw it. It was a sign. A bad sign. I thought, okay, this is it. Today is a disaster. I went to work. The meeting was at 10 a.m. At 9:55, we all went into the big meeting room. The whole team was there. 20 people. They were all talking and laughing. I was not laughing. I was trying to breathe. Mr. Henderson was there. He looked at me and nodded. It was a serious nod. It meant, do not fail. Then, it was my turn. Mr. Henderson said, and now, Alex will present the quarterly sales. Everyone looked at me. 20 pairs of eyes. I stood up. My legs felt like spaghetti. Really, really soft spaghetti. I walked to the front of the room. It felt like the longest walk of my life. I had my papers in my hand. My hand was shaking. Just a little. I looked at all the faces. I took a deep breath. And I started. I said, "Good morning, everyone." My voice was a little shaky. Just like in my first recording. But I did not stop. I remembered my practice. I remembered the mirror, the phone, the car, the shower, and my cat. I just kept talking. I used my simple words. We sold many things. The numbers went up. I looked at my papers. Then I looked at the people. I made a small mistake. I said a word wrong. For 1 second, my brain stopped. The old Alex wanted to run away. But then, I just took another breath and I continued. Nobody laughed. Nobody pointed. They just listened. I talked about the numbers. I showed the charts. I even tried to make a small gesture with my hand. It was not a confused bird this time. It was an okay hand. And then, it was over. I said my last sentence. I said, "Thank you." The room was silent for 2 seconds. It was the longest 2 seconds of my life. And then, they started to clap. Everyone. They were clapping for me. For my simple, boring presentation. I felt a big, big feeling of relief. I was alive. I was not a carpet. I did not die. I walked back to my chair. My legs were still spaghetti, but now they were happy spaghetti. After the meeting, a few of my colleagues said, "Good job, Alex." That was interesting. Even Mr. Henderson came to my desk. He said, "Good presentation, Alex." Good job. I just said, "Thank you." I went to the kitchen to get a coffee. It was the same bad coffee. But today, it tasted like the best coffee in the world. I looked at my blue mug. It said, "You can do it." And for the first time, I really, really believed it. The fear was big, yes. But my 7 days of practice were bigger. It was a good day. It was a very, very good day.